Hello, friends. Welcome to Bookku. Today, we're going to talk about the book When Things Don't Go Your Way by Haemin Sunim. Ritesh was always someone who chased perfection. He believed that everything should happen exactly as he wanted, otherwise he'd get restless. One day, his presentation at work went wrong. His boss scolded him harshly, and Ritesh kept thinking about it the entire day. Even after coming home, he couldn't calm down. He thought, why is my life so messy? Why can't I control everything? In that mood, he turned on his laptop, but didn't feel like working. He started listening to some music. While browsing, he thought, let's see what's special about this book. Right on the first page, it said, "Embrace impermanence. Recognize that all aspects of life are transient." He began reading. The first chapter had a story about a small village where people were eagerly waiting for rain. There had been a drought for months. The villagers prayed to God every day, but the rain wouldn't come. One day, a wise monk visited the village. The villagers stopped him and said, "Holy man, please help us. Why isn't it raining?" The monk smiled and said, "Your problem is not that it's not raining. Your problem is that you've assumed joy and sorrow are permanent. If it's not raining, this too is just a passing phase. Accept it. Everything changes." This line struck Ritesh. Everything changes. Does that mean all the bad things in my life will also change? He got more curious and kept reading. The book said that we often make our pain or problem seem so big that it feels like they'll never end. But the truth is, just like day turns into night, every situation changes. The book's words were simple, but their depth made Ritesh reflect. He remembered how he had once failed an exam during college. Back then, he had felt like his life was over. But now, when he looks back, that failure doesn't even seem important. It was just another experience. As he kept reading, it felt like someone was untangling the knots in his mind. He thought, maybe I too take my problems too seriously. Maybe I need to understand that all of this is temporary. He closed the book and sat back on the sofa. A question kept circling in his mind. If everything is impermanent, then am I even truly enjoying my happy moments? He reopened the book. It said, impermanence doesn't just mean accepting sadness. It also means fully living your happy moments because they, too, are temporary. Wow, Ritesh thought, I often take happiness for granted. He opened the Notes app on his phone and wrote, life is like a flowing river. It keeps moving. It doesn't stay in one place. You can't hold on to the water, but you can enjoy its coolness while it's in your hands. He remembered the monk story again. He thought, if the villagers had understood that the drought was temporary, maybe they wouldn't have been so stressed. He recalled his own failed presentation. He told himself, hey, this is temporary too. I can do better next time. Why am I making it such a big issue? It was 11 at night, but Ritesh's mind felt calm. He placed the book aside and promised himself that he'd read the next chapter tomorrow. This first lesson of impermanence had been eye-opening for him. He thought, maybe this book was written just for me. He decided, tomorrow morning I'll go to the gym, meditate, and look at the day with a new perspective. Impermanence means that every morning is a new beginning. Change had started to enter Ritesh's life. He realized that if he truly adopted these principles, he could live more peacefully and happily. But the story didn't end here. Ritesh was just beginning his journey. This was only the first step. There were still many questions in his life, and perhaps this book held their answers. The next morning, as soon as the alarm rang, Ritesh tried to wake up. But, like always, he hit the snooze button. Suddenly, he remembered the book from the night before and the promise he had made to himself. He said, no, I have to wake up today. This is not a small thing. It's a new beginning. He got out of bed and opened the window. A gentle sunlight and cool breeze greeted him. He took a deep breath and thought, this day, too, is temporary. I shouldn't waste it. After freshening up, he picked up the book and started reading the second lesson, Practice Gratitude. It said that we often focus on what we don't have, But if we learn to be thankful for what we do have, our mindset and perspective can change. Ritesh Reed, gratitude shifts your focus from scarcity to abundance. This line struck him deeply. Ritesh put the book aside and began thinking about his life. In the past few weeks, he had been constantly complaining, work pressure, the boss's scoldings, traffic frustration. But he rarely thought about the things he did have. He realized he had a good home, a supportive family, and the opportunity to learn new things. He picked up his notebook and wrote, "Today, I'm grateful for the things that make my life better." He wrote, 1. I'm thankful for this morning that gave me the chance to work on myself. 2. I have a steady job that gives me security and growth. 3. The love of my friends and family is always with me. While writing these, he felt a gentle peace. He realized that practicing gratitude wasn't hard. You just needed to focus on the right things. Then he continued reading. There was a story about a poor farmer who worked hard on his small piece of land. One day, his crop was ruined. He was sad and began complaining to God. "I already have so little, and now even this is gone. How will I survive?" A monk came to him and asked, "What do you have?" The farmer angrily replied, "Nothing." The monk smiled and said, "Aren't you alive? Don't you have another chance to try again?" After reading this story, Ritesh felt that he was just like that farmer, worrying about small problems while ignoring the many opportunities he had to improve his life. He thought, maybe I too should appreciate my blessings. He did an exercise mentioned in the book. Every morning or night, write down 3 things you're thankful for. Ritesh decided to adopt this immediately. Even at the office that day, he tried practicing gratitude. Though stuck in traffic, he thought, I'm grateful that I can drive and have a good car. During lunch, he appreciated the time spent with colleagues, thinking, how lucky I am to have people I can talk freely with. But the moment that touched him most was when he came home and spoke to his parents. His father asked, "How was your day, son?" Earlier, Ritesh would have brushed off such questions. But this time he paused and thought, Dad asks me every day. He cares. It's a small thing, but so important. He replied, "It was good, Dad. How was your day?" His father smiled, and that smile meant everything to Ritesh. That night, he wrote in his gratitude journal. 1. Despite being stuck in traffic, I kept my calm. 2. Laughter with friends during lunch made my day. 3. My dad asking how my day was and our little chat. While writing these little things, he realized there was so much good in his life. And the more he focused on these, the better he felt. The book also said, gratitude isn't just about big things. It's about finding joy in small, everyday moments. Ritesh thought, that's so true. I'm always chasing big things and missing small joys, like the first sip of tea, the feel of cool breeze, or just someone's smile. The next day, Ritesh began his morning with gratitude. He saw his mother in the kitchen making breakfast for him. He went to her and said, "Thank you, Mom, for always doing so much for me." His mom was surprised. Ritesh had never done that before, but the smile on her face was priceless. At the office, when a colleague helped him with a project, he sincerely said thank you. She too was surprised but happy. Ritesh realized that gratitude wasn't just changing his mindset, it was also improving his relationships with others. Days passed, and gratitude became a habit. He noticed he was complaining less. He didn't get angry over small things like before. He felt that gratitude wasn't just making him happy, it was making him a better person. This second lesson of the book had given Ritesh a new perspective, but he also knew the journey wasn't over yet. More lessons were coming, and each would bring new insights. Ritesh's life was slowly beginning to change. Embrace impermanence and practice gratitude had shown him a new direction. Now he was trying to take things lightly and be thankful for every little joy. But one day came that made him reflect again. That day, there was a big client presentation at the office. Ritesh had worked very hard, but the client's questions were so tough that he panicked, and his entire preparation fell apart. After the meeting, his boss called him and said, "Ritesh, you'll have to do better. I didn't expect this from you." Those words kept ringing in his ears. He realized that even though he had embraced gratitude and impermanence, he still wanted to avoid uncomfortable situations. When he got home, the day's lesson was, "Welcome discomfort." He read, "Instead of resisting uncomfortable situations, approach them with a welcoming attitude." This mindset allows for personal growth and resilience. He closed the book and thought, "Welcoming discomfort? How is that even possible? I've always tried to avoid it. Can I really do this?" He continued reading. She accepted the discomfort and started climbing again, this time thinking that every step was making her stronger. Eventually, she succeeded in reaching the top of the mountain. Listening to this story, Ritesh was reminded of his presentation. He thought, "I tried to avoid discomfort. Maybe if I had accepted the situation and prepared better, I could have handled it." He put the book aside and began thinking about the moments in his life when he had tried to escape discomfort. During school, he was afraid of public speaking. Every time he was asked to go on stage, he would make an excuse and escape. He realized that this fear had kept him from many good opportunities. Ritesh told himself, "If I keep running from discomfort, I will never move forward. I have to learn to accept it." The next day at the office, he prepared himself for a small challenge. His team was discussing a new strategy, and Ritesh got a chance to share his opinion. Usually, he would stay quiet, listen to others, and let the conversation end. But this time, he ignored his fear and spoke up. He realized that while he initially felt uncomfortable, once he started speaking, he slowly became more confident. The team listened attentively to his opinion, and some even praised him. That day, he realized that facing discomfort wasn't so bad. Yes, it feels tough in the beginning, but if embraced, it becomes a strength. That evening at home, he wrote in his notebook, "Discomfort comes to teach me something. It tells me I can push my limits further. Instead of running from it, I should embrace it." He decided to try another exercise from the book, which said, "Put yourself in a small discomfort every day. It will strengthen your mind and spirit." Ritesh started practicing it. On the first day, he decided to bathe in cold water. He was used to hot showers, but that day he tried to put himself into discomfort. As the cold water hit his body, the first few seconds felt extremely uncomfortable. But then he focused on his breathing and told himself, "This is temporary. I can take it." And truly, after some time, he got used to the cold water. Ritesh realized that going through small discomforts was boosting his confidence. He started looking at bigger, uncomfortable situations with more acceptance. A few days later, another opportunity came up for a presentation at work. This time, Ritesh stepped forward himself and said, "I'll handle this presentation." His team was surprised because the last time he had panicked. But this time, Ritesh prepared thoroughly and reminded himself before the presentation, even if something goes wrong, it's still a learning experience. He delivered the presentation, and the clients praised him. Even though it wasn't perfect, Ritesh managed it. He realized that discomfort no longer scared him. Instead, he viewed it as a challenge that was making him better. That night, he wrote in his gratitude journal, "I'm thankful that I faced discomfort and learned from it. Today, I freed myself from a fear that was making me weak. Now, I'll see every challenge as a growth opportunity." This lesson, "Welcome discomfort," was a game changer for Ritesh. He understood that instead of running from discomfort, he should embrace it. Every time he embraced discomfort, he felt stronger than before. But Ritesh knew this journey didn't end here. The book still had more lessons, and he was ready to change himself a little more each day. A new wave of transformation had begun in Ritesh's life. Embrace impermanence. Practice gratitude. Welcome discomfort. These taught him so much. He now felt calmer, stronger, and wiser. But life always comes with new challenges, and Ritesh's journey was far from over. One day at the office, Ritesh was working on his computer. He had been working on a project for months, which he considered his biggest contribution. Suddenly, his boss called him and said, Ritesh, this project is now being canceled. The client has decided to change direction. Your effort won't go to waste, but we shouldn't spend more time on this. Ritesh was stunned. He had worked day and night on this project, even skipped vacations, thinking it would showcase his hard work. But now, everything was over. He came home after work and picked up the book. That day's lesson was, know when to let go. Ritesh read, understanding when to let go of what no longer serves us is a form of wisdom. Letting go doesn't signify failure, but rather the beginning of a new journey. He closed the book and took a deep breath. Letting go feels like giving up, he told himself. But he also realized that what he had learned in the past weeks could help him in this situation. He reopened the book and continued reading. There was a story of a sailor who faced a storm at sea. His boat was overloaded, and he knew that unless he threw some cargo overboard, the boat would sink. But throwing it out wasn't easy. It was his hard-earned cargo. Eventually, to save his life, he threw the cargo away. He reached the shore and later realized it was the right decision. He could earn more cargo again, but if he hadn't let go, the boat would have sunk. Ritesh felt this story applied to his project. He thought, maybe it's time for me to let go of this project. It was important to me, but now it's not moving forward. That doesn't mean my effort was wasted. Maybe it's just a sign of a new beginning. He realized we often hold on to things because we're afraid that letting go means we've failed. But that's not always true. Sometimes letting go gives us a chance to move forward. That night, he thought about his past experiences. He remembered how he used to love painting in school. He had participated in and won many competitions. But as he grew older, his priorities changed. He stopped painting to focus on studies and career. At first, he thought quitting painting was a mistake. But now he felt if he had stayed obsessed with it, he might not have worked so hard on his career. He read another line from the book. Letting go is not about giving up, it's about making space for something new to bloom. That line touched his heart. He realized that every time he let go of something, something new and better entered his life. The next day at the office, Ritesh began the process of closing the project files. At first, he felt heavy-hearted, but as the day went by, he felt lighter. He thought, now I can focus on new projects. This is not the end, it's a new beginning. He did one more thing. He called an old friend with whom he had had a falling out years ago. He knew there was no point in holding on to that grudge. He told his friend, let's forget whatever happened. I want to move on. His friend apologized too, and they both made a fresh start. Ritesh realized that it's not just things, but also old grudges and broken relationships that sometimes need to be let go of. He wrote in his notebook, letting go doesn't mean failure. It means I'm ready for something new. Not everything stays with us forever, and that's okay. I need to create space so new things can come into my life. A week later, Ritesh started working on a new project at the office. This one was bigger and more challenging than the previous one. He realized that letting go of the old project had made him ready for this new beginning. That night, sitting in his room, he looked at the book again. He understood that the lesson know when to let go wasn't just for work, but applied to every aspect of life. This lesson would always remind him that letting go means creating an opportunity for something new. Ritesh's journey was still ongoing. He had understood that in life, knowing when to let go is more important than holding on. And maybe in the coming lessons, he would understand this even more deeply. His life now felt more balanced and better than ever. He had embraced know when to let go deeply. After letting go of the old project, not only was he busy with a new one, but he also felt lighter emotionally and in his personal relationships. But as always in life, a new challenge appeared. A major client project was underway at the office, and this time, Ritesh was assigned to lead the team. It was an opportunity he had been waiting for a long time. But as big as the project was, it brought many complexities, team conflicts, changing client demands, and tight deadlines. All this began to stress Ritesh. One evening, when Ritesh returned home tired, he picked up the book. That day's lesson was, view difficulties as opportunities. He began reading, view challenges not as obstacles on the path to happiness, but as an essential part of it. Each difficulty presents a chance for self-discovery and personal development. Ritesh took a deep breath. He thought, is it really that easy to see challenges as opportunities? But what he had learned from the previous lessons motivated him to read the book more carefully. The book told a story of a king who placed a large rock on the road in his kingdom. Everyone who passed by cursed the king and moved on. But one day, a poor farmer came, tried to remove the rock. If rewards come only when you give up, then you will neither learn nor achieve anything, Ritesh. This story felt very inspiring to him. He thought, maybe the problems in front of me have also come to teach me something and to make me better, but I was just seeing them as problems. The next day, at the office, Ritesh decided to work with a new perspective. First, he had a meeting with his team. He told them, I know this project is difficult, but let's treat it as a challenge. Whatever problems come, we will solve them together. This will make our team stronger. The team also liked Ritesh's perspective. Slowly, they all started solving problems together. If the client suddenly asked for some changes, Ritesh saw it as an opportunity to practice flexibility rather than frustration. When team members disagreed on something, he saw it as a chance to find better solutions through their different thoughts. Ritesh realized that when he stopped seeing difficulties as problems, they slowly began to resolve. He wrote in his notebook, 1. Every problem comes to teach me something. 2. Difficulties expand my thinking and abilities. 3. Challenges are temporary, but the lessons learned from them stay forever. One day, in the middle of the project, the team faced a technical problem. The problem was so complex that the whole team became disheartened. Even Ritesh felt for a moment that it would be difficult to handle all this. But then he reminded himself, this is also an opportunity. If we solve it, both our capability and confidence will increase. He sat with the team to think about the problem. Everyone gave their suggestions, and finally, together they found a solution. When the problem was solved, the whole team breathed a sigh of relief. Ritesh thanked them and said, see, if this challenge was not there, we would never have known how capable we are. Ritesh was now beginning to understand that challenges can bring opportunities not only in his work, but also in his personal life. He tried to adopt this in his personal life, too. He remembered that since childhood, he used to feel some differences with his parents. Sometimes their thinking seemed old to him, and he used to argue with them. But now, he thought, maybe these differences are also here to teach me something. If I try to understand their thinking, maybe I can build better relationships with them. That night, he talked to his mother. She started a discussion about some traditions that always seemed irrelevant to Ritesh, but this time, instead of arguing, he tried to listen and understand her point. He realized that behind their thinking there was depth and experience. Ritesh wrote in his notebook, 1. Challenges are not only professional but also come in relationships. 2. Behind every difficulty there is a lesson. 3. I should see every challenge with curiosity and openness. When the office project was completed, the client not only appreciated the team's hard work, but also praised Ritesh's leadership. This was a big moment for Ritesh. He felt that if he had not seen these difficulties as opportunities, perhaps this success would not have come. He picked up the book and smiled, saying, difficulties are really a part of the path to happiness. If I look at them with wisdom and patience, they are like a bag of gold for me. Ritesh's journey was still ongoing. He learned that by embracing challenges, not only are problems solved, but he himself becomes a better person. He knew there were more lessons left in the book, and he was ready for every new lesson. Ritesh's life had now become clearer and more purposeful than before. He had learned to apply every lesson from the book in his life. Embrace impermanence, practice gratitude, welcome discomfort, know when to let go, and view difficulties as opportunities had completely changed his thinking. Whenever he faced a challenge now, he no longer feared it, but saw it as a chance to learn and grow. One day, Ritesh got a chance to meet his old friend Arjun. Arjun and Ritesh were college friends but had drifted apart due to career and life's busyness. They planned to meet at a cafe. During the conversation, Arjun said, "Your life seems very sordid. Tell me, how did you become so calm and positive?" Ritesh smiled and said, "Calm and positive? No, it's nothing like that. I also used to get stuck in problems before." Arjun asked in surprise, "Which book?" Ritesh told Arjun about the book and how he applied every lesson from it in his life. He said, "I learned that everything in life is temporary. If we understand this, we won't trouble ourselves for things beyond our control. I learned to be grateful for every little thing. I started accepting discomfort as a friend and let go of things when they stopped serving me. And most importantly, I stopped seeing difficulties as enemies and started seeing them as my teachers." Arjun took a deep breath and said, "Listening to you, it feels like I too need to bring some changes in my life, but it's not that easy." Ritesh replied, "Nothing is easy. I didn't learn everything in a day. This book is not a magic wand, but yes, it can show you the right direction. The rest depends on your hard work and effort. Do a little every day." Arjun promised that he would also read the book and start working on himself. Ritesh realized that maybe the book's purpose was not only to change his life, but also to inspire others. Days, weeks, and months passed, and Ritesh's life had changed into a new stability. But one day he realized he hadn't opened the book for a long time. He thought, "The book has taught me so much, but am I still applying it properly?" He opened the book again, and while turning the pages, read one last lesson: share your light. It said, "When knowledge or experience gives you new direction in life, share it with others. Knowledge is complete only when it helps others too." Ritesh deeply felt this lesson and decided to share his experiences with more people. He started a blog where he wrote about his journey and the lessons from the book. Gradually, people started reading and getting inspired by his thoughts. He realized that his journey was no longer limited to changing himself, but he was now helping others too. Every time someone told him, "Your words have changed my life," he felt that he was truly doing something big. Finally, Ritesh put the book back in the cupboard and smiled, thinking, "Now this book is not only mine, it belongs to all those who want change." And thus, Ritesh's journey became a new beginning beyond himself for others. He learned that every end signals a new beginning, and that is life's greatest lesson. Ritesh's journey started with a simple book that completely changed his life. Every lesson in the book gave him a chance to understand and adopt an important aspect of life. 1. Embrace impermanence. Ritesh learned that everything is temporary. Good or bad moments don't last forever. Understanding this, he stopped worrying and learned to live every moment fully. 2. Practice gratitude. He realized it's important to appreciate what he has. Instead of complaining, he learned to be thankful for small things, which brought him peace and satisfaction. 3. Welcome discomfort. Instead of running away from difficult situations, Ritesh learned to embrace discomfort as a means for growth. 4. Know when to let go. Letting go of some things is not weakness, but a sign of a new beginning. He felt lighter by letting go of old projects and grievances. 5. View difficulties as opportunities. He saw challenges not as obstacles, but as chances to learn and become stronger. Difficulties made him aware of his capabilities and taught him to trust himself. 6. Share your light. Finally, Ritesh understood that sharing knowledge was his next step. Sharing his learning and experiences with others changed not only his, but many other lives. Ritesh's story is proof that with the right attitude and willingness to learn, any change in life is possible. If this summary gave you that aha moment or helped shift your mindset even a little, hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow and reach more curious minds like yours. Got a takeaway or favorite part from this book? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts and keep the conversation going. And if you're someone who loves turning pages into progress, don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell icon so you never miss a powerful book breakdown like this. Thanks for watching, keep learning, and remember, small steps beat perfect plans. Always.